Australian Information Security Manual. In audiobook format. Please subscribe and like for more content. Part 7. This part of the audiobook will cover the following sections. Guidelines for communications infrastructure. Cabling infrastructure. Emanation security. Guidelines for communications systems. Telephone systems. Video conferencing and Internet protocol telephony. Fax machines and multifunction devices. Let's begin. Guidelines for communications infrastructure. Cabling infrastructure. Applicability. This section is only applicable to facilities located within Australia. In addition, this section only applies to new cabling infrastructure installations or upgrades. Shared facilities. In addition to common security controls, this section provides additional security controls for shared facilities, such as a single floor, or part of a floor, within a multi-tenanted building. Cables and structured cabling systems. For the purposes of this section, a cable is defined as any fiber optic or copper material housed within a protective sheath for the purposes of transmitting data or control signals from one point in a facility to another. Each cable will form part of a structured cabling system and will need to comply with the Australian standards associated with that system. In addition to network communications and data systems, some common building management structured cabling systems found within facilities are fire control and sensor systems, security control and surveillance systems, lighting control systems, access control systems, voice and emergency telephony systems, emergency control alert systems, cable sheaths and conduits. A cable's protective sheath is not considered to be a conduit. Cable connector types. The same cable connector types can be used for all systems within a facility regardless of their sensitivity or classification. Cabling infrastructure standards. Cabling infrastructure should be installed by an endorsed cable installer to the relevant Australian standards to ensure personnel safety and system availability. Security control, ISM 0181. Cabling infrastructure is installed in accordance with relevant Australian standards, as directed by the Australian Communications and Media Authority. Use of fiber optic cables. Fiber optic cables do not produce, nor are influenced by, electromagnetic emanations, thereby offering the highest degree of protection from electromagnetic emanation effects. Security control, ISM 1111. Fiber optic cables are used for cabling infrastructure instead of copper cables. Cable register. Maintaining and regularly verifying cable registers assists installers and inspectors, with the help of floor plan diagrams, to trace cables for malicious or accidental changes or damage. In doing so, cable registers should track all cabling changes throughout the life of a system. Security control, ISM 0211. A cable register is maintained and verified on a regular basis. Security control, ISM 0208. A cable register contains the following for each cable. Cable identifier. Cable color. Sensitivity/classification. Source. Destination. Location. Serial numbers, if applicable. Floor plan diagrams. Floor plan diagrams, developed using computer-aided design and drafting software, and using alphanumeric grid referencing, provide an accurate scaled view for each floor and are critical to ensuring that cabling infrastructure components can be easily located by installers and inspectors. In doing so, floor plan diagrams should track all cabling infrastructure changes throughout the life of a system. Security control, ISM 1645. Floor plan diagrams are maintained and verified on a regular basis. Security control, ISM 1646. Floor plan diagrams contain the following. Cable paths, including ingress and egress points between floors. Cable reticulation system and conduit paths. Floor concentration boxes. Wall outlet boxes. Network cabinets. Cable labeling processes and procedures. Well-documented cable labeling processes and procedures can make cable verification and fault finding easier. Security control, ISM 0206. Cable labeling processes, and supporting cable labeling procedures, are developed and implemented. Labeling cables. Labeling cables with the correct source and destination details minimizes the likelihood of cross-patching and aids in fault finding and configuration management. Security control, ISM 1096. Cables are labeled at each end with sufficient source and destination details to enable the physical identification and inspection of the cable. Labeling building management cables. All facilities will contain structured cabling systems to support building management and control functions. As Australian standards require some structured cabling systems to use specified colors, such as red for fire control systems, it is important that all building management cables are appropriately labeled. Security Control, ISM 1639. Building management cables are labeled with their purpose in black writing on a yellow background, with a minimum size of 2.5 cm by 1 cm, and attached at 5-meter intervals. Labeling cables for foreign systems in Australian facilities. Labeling cables for foreign systems in Australian facilities helps prevent unintended cross-patching of Australian and foreign systems. Security Control, ISM 1640. Cables for foreign systems installed in Australian facilities are labeled at inspection points. Cable colors. The use of designated cable colors can provide an easy way to distinguish secret and top secret systems from other systems. For example, while secret and top secret cables have designated colors, cables for other systems may be any color except for those reserved for secret and top secret systems. In addition, cable colors for other systems may be the same color, such as blue. Security Control, ISM 0926. Official and protected cables are colored neither salmon pink nor red. Security Control, ISM 1718. Secret cables colors are colored salmon pink. Security Control, ISM 1719. Top secret cables colors are colored red. Cable color non-conformance. In certain circumstances it may not be possible to use the correct color for secret or top secret cables. In such cases, an organization should ban such cables with the appropriate color and ensure that the cable bands are easily visible at inspection points. In doing so, it is important that cable bands are robust enough to stand the test of time. Examples of appropriate cable bands include stick-on colored labels, color heat shrink, colored ferrules or short lengths of banded conduit. Security Control, ISM 1216. Secret and top secret cables with non-conformant cable coloring are both banded with the appropriate color and labeled at inspection points. Cable Inspectability. The ability to inspect cabling infrastructure is necessary to detect illicit tampering or degradation. Security Control, ISM 1112. Cables are inspectable at a minimum of 5-meter intervals. Security Control, ISM 1119. Cables in top secret areas are fully inspectable for their entire length. Common cable reticulation systems and conduits. Cables from different cable groups can share common cable reticulation systems and conduits to reduce costs. Security Control, ISM 0187. Secret and top secret systems belong exclusively to their own cable groups. Security Control, ISM 0189. Cables only carry a single cable group, unless each cable group belongs to a different subunit. Security Control, ISM 1114. Cable groups sharing a common cable reticulation system have a dividing partition or a visible gap between the cable groups. Enclosed cable reticulation systems. In shared facilities, cables should be enclosed in a sealed cable reticulation system to prevent access and enhance cable management. Security Control, ISM 1130. In shared facilities, cables are run in an enclosed cable reticulation system. Covers for enclosed cable reticulation systems. In shared facilities, clear covers on enclosed cable reticulation systems are a convenient method of maintaining inspection requirements. Having clear covers face inwards increases their inspectability. Security Control, ISM 1164. In shared facilities, conduits or the front covers of ducts, cable trays in floors and ceilings, and associated fittings are clear plastic. Sealing cable reticulation systems and conduits. In shared facilities, Security Construction and Equipment Committee, SCEC, endorsed seals should be used to provide evidence of any tampering or illicit access to top secret cable reticulation systems. In addition, top secret conduits should be sealed with a visible smear of conduit glue to prevent access. Security Control, ISM 0195. In shared facilities, uniquely identifiable SCEC endorsed tamper evidence seals are used to seal all removable covers on top secret cable reticulation systems. Security Control, ISM 0194. In shared facilities, a visible smear of conduit glue is used to seal all plastic conduit joints and top secret conduits connected by threaded lock nuts. Labeling conduits. Labels for top secret conduits should be of sufficient size and color to allow for easy identification. Security Control, ISM 0201. Labels for top secret conduits are a minimum size of 2.5 cm by 1 cm, attached at 5-meter intervals and marked as TS run. Cables in walls. Cables run correctly in walls allow for neater installations while maintaining separation and inspection requirements. Security control, ISM 1115. Cables from cable trays to wall outlet boxes are run in flexible or plastic conduit. Cables in party walls. In shared facilities, top secret cables are not run in party walls. However, an inner wall can be used to run top secret cables where sufficient space exists for their inspection. Security control, ISM 1133. In shared facilities, top secret cables are not run in party walls. Wall penetrations. Penetrating a wall between a top secret area and a lower classified area requires the integrity of the top secret area to be maintained. In such scenarios, top secret cables should be encased in conduit with all gaps between the top secret conduit and the wall filled with an appropriate sealing compound. Security control, ISM 1122. Where wall penetrations exit a top secret area into a lower classified area, top secret cables are encased in conduit with all gaps between the top secret conduit and the wall filled with an appropriate sealing compound. Wall outlet boxes. Wall outlet boxes are the main method of connecting cabling infrastructure to workstations. They allow the management of cables and the types of connectors allocated to various systems. Security control, ISM 1104. Wall outlet boxes have connectors on opposite sides of the wall outlet box if the cable group contains cables belonging to different systems. Security control, ISM 1105. Different cables groups do not share a wall outlet box. Labeling wall outlet boxes. Clear labeling of wall outlet boxes diminishes the possibility of incorrectly attaching ICT equipment to the wrong wall outlet box. In cases where a wall outbox has a cable group containing cables belonging to different systems, each connector should be individually labeled. Security control, ISM 1095. Wall outlet boxes denote the systems, cable identifiers and wall outlet box identifier. Wall outlet box colors. The use of designated wall outlet box colors can provide an easy way to distinguish secret and top secret systems from other systems. For example, while secret and top secret wall outlet boxes have designated colors, wall outlet boxes for other systems may be any color except for those reserved for secret and top secret systems. In addition, wall outlet box colors for other systems may be the same color, such as white. Ideally, wall outlet boxes should be the same color that is used for associated cabling infrastructure. Security control, ISM 1107. Official and protected wall outlet boxes are colored neither salmon pink nor red. Security control, ISM 1720. Secret wall outlet boxes are colored salmon pink. Security control, ISM 1721. Top secret wall outlet boxes are colored red. Wall outlet box covers. Transparent wall outlet box covers allow for inspection of cable cross-patching and tampering. Security control, ISM 1109. Wall outlet box covers are clear plastic. Fly lead installation. Keeping the lengths of top secret fiber optic fly leads to a minimum prevents clutter around desks, prevents damage, and reduces the chance of cross-patching and tampering. If lengths become excessive, top secret fiber optic fly leads should be treated as cabling infrastructure and run in top secret conduit or fixed infrastructure, such as desk partitioning. Security control, ISM 0218. If top secret fiber optic fly leads exceeding 5 meters in length are used to connect wall outlet boxes to ICT equipment, they are run in a protective and easily inspected pathway that is clearly labeled at the ICT equipment end with the wall outlet boxes identifier. Connecting cable reticulation systems to cabinets. Controlling the routing from cable reticulation systems to cabinets can assist in preventing unauthorized modifications and tampering while also providing easy inspection of cables. Security control, ISM 1102. Cable reticulation systems leading into cabinets are terminated as close as possible to the cabinet. Security control, ISM 1101. In top secret areas, cable reticulation systems leading into cabinets in server rooms or communications rooms are terminated as close as possible to the cabinet. Security control, ISM 1103. In top secret areas, cable reticulation systems leading into cabinets not in server rooms or communications rooms are terminated at the boundary of the cabinet. Terminating cables in cabinets. Having individual or divided cabinets can assist in preventing accidental or deliberate cross-patching and makes inspection of cables easier. Security control, ISM 1098. Cables are terminated in individual cabinets, or for small systems, one cabinet with a division plate to delineate cable groups. Security control, ISM 1100. Top secret cables are terminated in an individual top secret cabinet. Terminating cable groups on patch panels. Terminating cable groups on different patch panels and cabinets can assist in preventing accidental or deliberate cross-patching and makes inspection of cables easier. Security control, ISM 0213. Different cable groups do not terminate on the same patch panel. Physical separation of cabinets and patch panels. Physical separation between top secret systems and systems of lower classifications reduces the chance of cross-patching, thereby the possibility of unauthorized personnel gaining access to top secret systems. Security control, ISM 1116. There is a visible gap between top secret cabinets and cabinets of lower classifications. Security control, ISM 0216. Top secret and non-top secret patch panels are physically separated by installing them in separate cabinets. Security control, ISM 0217. Where spatial constraints demand patch panels of lower classifications than top secret be located in the same cabinet as a top secret patch panel. A physical barrier in the cabinet is provided to separate patch panels. Only personnel holding a positive vetting security clearance have access to the cabinet. Approval from the top secret systems authorizing officer is obtained prior to installation. Audio secure rooms. Audio secure rooms are designed to prevent audio conversations from being overheard. The Australian Security Intelligence Organisation should be consulted before any modifications are made to top secret audio secure rooms. Security control, ISM 0198. When penetrating a top secret audio secure room, the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation is consulted and all directions provided are complied with. Power reticulation. It is important that top secret systems have control over the power system to prevent denial of service by deliberate or accidental means. Security control, ISM 1123. A power distribution board with a feed from an uninterruptible power supply is used to power all top secret ICT equipment. Emanation security. Emanation security threat assessments in Australia. Obtaining advice from the Australian Cyber Security Centre, ACSC, on emanation security controls is vital to protecting secret and top secret systems. Security control, ISM 0248. System owners deploying official or protected systems with radio frequency transmitters that will be co-located with secret or top secret systems contact the ACSC for an emanation security threat assessment and implement any additional installation criteria derived from the threat assessment. Security control, ISM 0247. System owners deploying secret or top secret systems with radio frequency transmitters inside or co-located with their facility contact the ACSC for an emanation security threat assessment and implement any additional installation criteria derived from the threat assessment. Security control, ISM 1137. System owners deploying secret or top secret systems in shared facilities contact the ACSC for an emanation security threat assessment and implement any additional installation criteria derived from the threat assessment. Emanation security threat assessments outside Australia. Fixed sites outside Australia, and deployed military platforms, are more vulnerable to emanation security threats. Failing to implement emanation security controls could result in systems or military platforms emanating compromising signals, which if intercepted and analyzed, could lead to serious consequences. Security control, ISM 0249. System owners deploying systems or military platforms overseas contact the ACSC for an emanation security threat assessment and implement any additional installation criteria derived from the threat assessment. Early identification of emanation security controls. It is important to identify emanation security controls for systems early in their project life cycle, as costs will be much greater if changes have to be made once a system has been designed and deployed. Security control, ISM 0246. An emanation security threat assessment is sought as early as possible in a project's life cycle, as emanation security controls can have significant cost implications. Electromagnetic interference/electromagnetic compatibility standards. While all ICT equipment may not need certification to emanation security standards, it still needs to meet applicable industry and government standards relating to electromagnetic interference/electromagnetic compatibility. Security control, ISM 0250. ICT equipment meets industry and government standards relating to electromagnetic interference/electromagnetic compatibility. Guidelines for communication systems. Telephone systems. Telephone system usage policy. All non-secure telephone systems are subject to interception. Personnel accidentally or maliciously communicating sensitive or classified information over a public telephone network can lead to its compromise. Security control, ISM 1078. A telephone system usage policy is developed and implemented. Personnel awareness. As there is a potential for unintended disclosure of information when using telephone systems, it is important that personnel are made aware of the sensitivity or classification of conversations that they can be used for. In addition, personnel should also be made aware of the security risks associated with the use of non-secure telephone systems in sensitive or classified areas. When using cryptographic equipment to enable different levels of conversation for different kinds of connections, providing a visual indication to personnel as to the sensitivity or classification of information that can be discussed over the telephone system can assist in reducing the likelihood of unintended disclosure of information. Security control, ISM 0229. Personnel are advised of the permitted sensitivity or classification of information that can be discussed over both internal and external telephone systems. Security control, ISM 0230. Personnel are advised of security risks posed by non-secure telephone systems in areas where sensitive or classified conversations can occur. Security control, ISM 0231. When using cryptographic equipment to permit different levels of conversation for different kinds of connections, telephone systems give a visual indication of what kind of connection has been made. Protecting conversations. When sensitive or classified conversations are held using telephone systems, the conversation needs to be appropriately protected through the use of encryption. Security control, ISM 0232. Telephone systems used for sensitive or classified conversations encrypt all traffic that passes over external systems. Cordless telephone systems. Cordless telephone systems have minimal transmission security and are susceptible to interception. Using cordless telephone systems can result in disclosure of information to an unauthorized party through interception. Security control, ISM 0233. Cordless telephone systems are not used for sensitive or classified conversations. Speakerphones. As speakerphones are designed to pick up and transmit conversations in the vicinity of the device, using speakerphones in top secret areas presents a number of security risks and they should not be used. However, if personnel are able to reduce security risks through the use of an audio secure room that is secure during any conversations, then they may be used. Security control, ISM 0235. Speakerphones are not used on telephone systems in top secret areas unless the telephone system is located in an audio secure room. The room is audio secure during conversations and only personnel involved in conversations are present in the room. Off-hook audio protection. Using off-hook protection features minimizes the chance of background conversations being accidentally coupled into handsets, headsets and speakerphones. Limiting the time an active microphone is open minimizes this security risk. Security control, ISM 0236. Off-hook audio protection features are used on telephone systems in areas where background conversations may exceed the sensitivity or classification that the telephone system is authorized for communicating. Security control, ISM 0931. In secret and top secret areas, push-to-talk handsets or push-to-talk headsets are used to meet any off-hook audio protection requirements. Further information. Further information on encrypting communications can be found in the Cryptographic Fundamentals section of the Guidelines for Cryptography. Video conferencing and Internet Protocol telephony. Internet Protocol telephony. This section describes the security controls applicable to Internet Protocol, IP, telephony and extends upon the prior telephone systems section. Video conferencing and Internet Protocol telephony gateways. Where a video conferencing or IP telephony network is connected to another video conferencing or IP telephony network from a different security domain, the Gateways section of the Guidelines for Gateways applies. Where an analog telephone network, such as the Public Switch Telephone Network, PSTN, is connected to a data network, the Gateways section of the Guidelines for Gateways does not apply. Video conferencing and Internet Protocol telephony infrastructure hardening. Video conferencing and IP telephony infrastructure can be hardened in order to reduce its attack surface. For example, by ensuring that a session initiation protocol server has a fully patched operating system, uses fully patched software and runs only required services. Security control, ISM 1562. Video conferencing and IP telephony infrastructure is hardened. Video-aware and voice-aware firewalls. The use of video-aware and voice-aware firewalls provides network security while supporting video and voice traffic. As such, when a requirement exists to implement a firewall in a gateway, and video conferencing or IP telephony traffic passes through the gateway, a video-aware or voice-aware firewall will need to be used. However, this does not require separate firewalls to be deployed for video conferencing, IP telephony and data traffic. In such cases, an organization is encouraged to implement one firewall that is video aware and data aware, voice aware and data aware, or video aware, voice aware and data aware depending on their needs. Security Control, ISM 0546. Where a requirement exists to implement a firewall in a gateway, and video conferencing or IP telephony traffic passes through the gateway, a video aware or voice aware firewall is used. Protecting video conferencing and Internet Protocol telephony traffic. Video conferencing and IP telephony traffic can be vulnerable to eavesdropping, denial of service, person in the middle and call spoofing attacks. To mitigate this security risk, video conferencing and IP telephony signaling and audio/video data can be protected with the use of transport layer security. This is achieved through the use of the Session Initiation Protocol Secure Protocol and the Secure Real-Time Transport Protocol. Security Control, ISM 0548. Video conferencing and IP telephony calls are established using a secure session initiation protocol. Security Control, ISM 0547. Video conferencing and IP telephony calls are conducted using a secure real-time transport protocol. Video conferencing unit and Internet Protocol phone authentication. Blocking unauthorized or unauthenticated devices by default will reduce the likelihood of unauthorized access to a video conferencing or IP telephony network. Security Control, ISM 0554. An encrypted and non-replayable two-way authentication scheme is used for call authentication and authorization. Security Control, ISM 0553. Authentication and authorization is used for all actions on a video conferencing network, including call setup and changing settings. Security Control, ISM 0555. Authentication and authorization is used for all actions on an IP telephony network, including registering a new IP phone, changing phone users, changing settings and accessing voicemail. Security Control, ISM 0551. IP telephony is configured such that IP phones authenticate themselves to the call controller upon registration. Auto-registration is disabled and only authorized devices are allowed to access the network. Unauthorized devices are blocked by default. All unused and prohibited functionality is disabled. Security Control, ISM 1014. Individual logins are implemented for IP phones used for secret or top-secret conversations. Traffic separation. Video conferencing and IP telephony traffic should be physically or logically separated from other data traffic to ensure its availability and quality of service. Security Control, ISM 0549. Video conferencing and IP telephony traffic is separated physically or logically from other data traffic. Security Control, ISM 0556. Workstations are not connected to video conferencing units or IP phones unless the workstation or the device uses virtual local area networks or similar mechanisms to maintain separation between video conferencing, IP telephony and other data traffic. Internet Protocol phones in public areas. IP phones in public areas may give an adversary the opportunity to access data networks or poorly protected voicemail and directory services. As such, any services accessible to IP phones in public areas should be restricted. Security Control, ISM 0558. IP phones used in public areas do not have the ability to access data networks, voicemail and directory services. Microphones and webcams. Microphones, including headsets and universal serial bus, USB, handsets, and webcams can pose a security risk in secret and top-secret areas. Specifically, an adversary can email or host a malicious application on a compromised website and use social engineering techniques to convince users into installing the application on their workstation. Such malicious applications may then activate microphones or webcams that are attached to the workstation to act as remote listening and recording devices. Security Control, ISM 0559. Microphones, including headsets and USB handsets, and webcams are not used with non-secret workstations in secret areas. Security Control, ISM 1450. Microphones, including headsets and USB handsets, and webcams are not used with non-top secret workstations in top secret areas. Developing a denial of service response plan. Video conferencing and IP telephony services may be a critical service for an organization. In such cases, a denial of service response plan will assist in responding to denial of service attacks against these services. Security Control, ISM 1019. A denial of service response plan is developed and implemented for video conferencing and IP telephony services that includes how to identify signs of a denial of service attack, how to identify the source of a denial of service attack, how capabilities can be maintained during a denial of service attack, What actions can be taken to respond to a denial of service attack? Fax machines and multifunction devices. Using cryptographic equipment with fax machines and multifunction devices. Further information on processes and procedures for sending classified fax messages using high-assurance cryptographic equipment can be requested from the Australian Cyber Security Centre. Fax machine and multifunction device usage policy. As fax machines and multifunction devices, MFDs, are a potential source of cybersecurity incidents, it is important that an organization develops a policy governing their use. Security Control, ISM 0588. A fax machine and MFD usage policy is developed and implemented. Sending fax messages. Once a fax machine or MFD has been connected to cryptographic equipment, and used to send a sensitive or classified fax message, it can no longer be trusted when connected directly to unsecured telecommunications infrastructure, such as the PSTN. For example, if a fax machine fails to send a sensitive or classified fax message, the device will continue attempting to send the fax message even if it has been disconnected from cryptographic equipment and reconnected directly to the PSTN. In such cases, the fax machine could send the sensitive or classified fax message in the clear, causing a data spill. Security Control, ISM 1092. Separate fax machines or MFDs are used for sending sensitive or classified fax messages and all other fax messages. Security Control, ISM 0241. When sending fax messages, the fax message is encrypted to an appropriate level to be communicated over unsecured telecommunications infrastructure. Receiving fax messages. While the communications path between fax machines and MFDs may be appropriately protected, personnel should still be aware of who has a need to know of the information being communicated. It is therefore important that fax messages are collected from the receiving fax machine or MFD as soon as possible. Furthermore, if an expected fax message is not received, it may indicate that there was a problem with the original transmission or the fax message has been taken by an unauthorized person. Security Control, ISM 1075. The sender of a fax message makes arrangements for the receiver to collect the fax message as soon as possible after it is sent, and for the receiver to notify the sender if the fax message does not arrive in an agreed amount of time. Connecting multifunction devices to networks. As networked MFDs are considered to be devices that reside on networks, they should have security controls of a similar strength to other devices on networks. Security Control, ISM 0590. Security controls for MFDs connected to networks are of a similar strength to those for other devices on networks. Connecting multifunction devices to both networks and digital telephone systems. When an MFD is connected to both a network and a digital telephone system, the MFD can act as a bridge between the two. The digital telephone system therefore needs to operate at the same sensitivity or classification as the network. Security Control, ISM 0245. A direct connection from an MFD to a digital telephone system is not enabled unless the digital telephone system is authorized to operate at the same sensitivity or classification as the network to which the MFD is connected. Copying documents on multifunction devices. As networked MFDs are capable of sending scanned or copied documents across connected networks, personnel should be aware that if they scan or copy documents at a level higher than that of networks that devices are connected to, it will cause a data spill. Security Control, ISM 0589. MFDs connected to networks are not used to copy documents above the sensitivity or classification of connected networks. Observing fax machine and multifunction device use. Placing fax machines and MFDs in public areas can help reduce the likelihood of any suspicious use going unnoticed. Security Control, ISM 1036. Fax machines and MFDs are located in areas where their use can be observed. This is the end of Part 7. Please subscribe and like for more content. More parts will continue.